I had a fun time doing this list because I've got a lot of stuff I've put on my list of places I really want to stay in now.
Yeah, if you ever want to get away, but you don't want to be alone.
You don't want to be alone.
Yeah.
You want to be with some, spectral forces. Not real people, because they can be annoying. But
yeah.
ghosts.
Just want a little taste, of human interaction.
Undead human interaction. Let's get into it.
Starting off our list today, we have this 160-year-old Gothic mansion located in Maryland that is home to at least 3 ghosts. I mean, with a 4-story tower and 20 rooms, at least one was bound to be haunted, right? The mansion, which from some angles looks more like a castle, boasts marble fireplaces, a ballroom, a swimming pool, and the ghosts of 2 young people and 1 older man. The young people are believed to be 2 of many young people who perished in the home due to unseen forces, and the man is believed to be Henry Richard Hazelhurt, who made a fortune in the iron trade during the Civil War before dying inside of the mansion in 1900. Apparently the trio were pretty inactive for many years, until a fire broke out in the home and the new owner decided to renovate the home in a very different style than it once was. From then on, the ghosts have made themselves known, with the sounds of loud footsteps, jamming windows and doors, swinging chandeliers, and the smell of old cigars. While this place does look super cool and would, I'm sure, be a great place to stay, I do feel as though it is my duty to inform you that you won't be alone in the property, and I'm not just talking about the ghost. Despite paying $500 per night, you will be sharing the home with the owners, who often stay in the basement and continue to use the outside amenities while the house is being rented out. Plus, there's a ton of rules, so just keep that in mind the next time you're looking to book yourself a haunted Airbnb.
Next up, we head to an Airbnb in one of the most haunted cities in the UK, the Chamber Apartment in New York. The host, Ian, writes in the description that the Madness Chamber, as it's often referred to, is haunted and is well over 600 years old. Many of the guest reviews are pretty positive here, but people will also say the place has this eerie silence about it, other than when it's not silent. Phantom footsteps, knocks, you know the drill. The house is also said to be haunted by the ghost of a headless woman. And on top of that, as I said, the city of York has a very dark history in itself. Some will even say it's the most haunted city in Europe, and that's saying a lot. It's the site of Viking invasions, the Norman conquest, and the Civil War, so there's plenty of gory history to explore here, and probably a number of ghosts to encounter.
Next on our list today, we have a former brothel, casino, and saloon located in Colorado that is said to be haunted by a mine worker who died in the building after a weapons fight. One of the most common complaints people have while staying in this particular Airbnb are not about the creepy wall art, nor are they about the various pieces of skulls and taxidermied animals that take up a lot of floor and wall space. They are about being woken up in the middle of the night by the sounds of men and women partying on the main floor below the bedrooms. Only thing is, there are no men and women partying on the main floor below the bedroom. Well, none that are living, that is. Along with some of the original patrons of the renovated fun house, the Airbnb still has its original ornate solid oak doors, bay windows, hardwood floors, stairs, and tin ceilings. And all of the furniture looks as though it belongs in a love for pay kind of establishment too, but don't worry, it hasn't, and it's been washed. The Airbnb has 7 bedrooms with 10 beds and 2 pull-out couches that can comfortably accommodate 16 plus guests, as long as you don't mind sharing, but not with the host. It goes for $1,100 a night, which seems pricey, but split 16 ways is actually only $69 a head. That was a wink in case you missed it. You get the entire property to yourself as well, minus the ghosts of course. Sounds like a pretty good deal to me.
Next, we have an Airbnb in Salem, Massachusetts. It's an old house in Salem, so I mean, of course it's haunted, right? As the host includes in the description, this is an antique house over 180 years old. Do not expect it to look or feel like a hotel when you arrive. The stairs will creak, the windows will rattle, and it's windy, and you may experience paranormal activity in the house during your stay. Again, we have a pretty gorgeous space here, a perfect place to stay if you want to explore the historic town of Salem and really steep yourself in the whole vibe of the place. It's called the Henry Derby House, and it was built for a man named Henry Derby. The current owner grew up in the home and experienced some pretty strange stuff growing up. In terms of the paranormal goings on here, folks will often hear footsteps coming from the 3rd floor, odd bumps in the night, and of course guests have also seen a young woman with long black hair standing over their bed in the middle of the night or roaming through the home only to vanish into thin air. But again, if that's not all enough for you, you're in Salem. I'm sure there are plenty of ghosts to find, and you probably don't need to look very hard.
Next on our list today we have the master bedroom in an old Gothic style manor located in St. Paul, Minnesota. The house has been described as the most mysterious house in St. Paul, likely because it's haunted by a young woman who died in the master bedroom of typhoid fever way back in 1908. Many people who have visited the manor and stayed in the bedroom have been visited by the ghost of the woman, who is said to wander throughout the halls in a flowy white dress. Classic lady in white type of situation. While you unfortunately cannot rent out the entire manor, just the bedroom, you do have access to the master bedroom, which is all yours during the stay, a shared bedroom, kitchen, and living room, and a shared courtyard. While that's obviously not ideal, the price of just $90 per night and the fact that you could easily fit 2 people on the queen bed and a third on an air mattress provided at request, making the total just $30 per person, definitely helps. Oh, and there is an absolutely adorable Doberman on the property who I would personally pay $30 to hang out with anyway. So by girl math logic, it's practically free.
Forget regular old haunted houses, how about a haunted lighthouse? We now head to the UK in the Isle of Wight, where you'll find St. Catherines Lighthouse. The lighthouse cottage is such a beautiful looking space. I mean, who wouldn't want to stay in a Victorian house overlooking the sea? Well, if you're someone who's scared of ghostly activity, then maybe this wouldn't be the place for you. Other than that though, I'm all for it. What's the story here? Well, back in World War II, the lighthouse was hit by an explosive, tragically killing its 3 keepers. They were later buried in a nearby churchyard, and ever since, there have been reports of ghostly activity at the lighthouse. People have claimed to see shadowy figures wandering the grounds, believed to be the spirits of these fallen keepers. Some visitors have reported hearing strange noises like footsteps and whispers, even when no one else is around.
Alright, for this next one, we have another haunted room, this time in a New Orleans mansion. While I do tend to avoid Airbnbs that require sharing spaces with complete strangers, this one does come with its perks. A great view, a private bathroom and balcony, access to the common areas of the home including the music room, formal dining room, the parlor, garden, and lap pool, and it comes with 2 friendly dogs. But as much as I would love to do a video dedicated solely to our 4-legged friends, this is a video about haunted Airbnbs. And so I feel as though it is my duty to tell you that the hosts aren't the only people you'll be sharing the house with. However, they are the only people who are living that you'll be sharing the house with. Another resident of the home is a young woman with dark hair who has been seen walking around in a yellow dress with an incredibly distinct limp, much like the daughter of the first family to occupy the home back in the late 1800s had. The daughter who died at a young age and was buried on the grounds. I mean, if it's not her, it's a demon pretending to be her. So for the sake of everyone who stays there, I hope it's her. She is said to be quite shy, allowing herself to be seen for mere moments at a time. But at night, many people have reported hearing her footsteps, doors opening and closing, a quiet lullaby, and the comforting sensation of someone sitting next to them in bed. The Airbnb starts at $136 per night, but unlike the last one I mentioned, this one has 2 dogs. So again, it's a pretty fair price.
Alright, I'm not even exaggerating. When I saw the images of this room, my jaw dropped. How freaking cool is this place? Look at these pictures. I absolutely need to stay here. Yes, it is apparently haunted, and I do so badly want to experience something paranormal, but even aside from that, just look at it. I can't even describe it in words. Talliston House and Gardens in Great Dunmow, UK is said to be very haunted. So not only do you have this beautiful yet decidedly eerie looking room to stay in, but you also can explore the entire house while you're there. And the coolest part, each room is decorated in a different theme, all with objects and artifacts from all around the world. So a pretty cool place to explore. You're basically staying overnight in a museum.
And for this next one, I was, don't come for me, unfortunately unable to find the actual Airbnb listing because while the review was posted to an Airbnb discussion forum, out of respect for the homeowner, user Laura2592 chose not to disclose which Airbnb she was staying at when her husband, and their dog got the fright of their life while staying in an old farmhouse on a secluded road one October. When the trio arrived at the house, the first thing that they noticed was that all of the lights had been left on, and that it felt as though someone else was there. They could just feel it. Even the couple's dog began acting cautious and hanging back, behavior that, according to Laura, is completely abnormal for the dog, even in new places. Eventually, the couple got to sleep, but that night they were awoken around 3 a.m. by the light turning on in the closet and their dog going nuts, trying to get at something under the bed. They checked the closet, which has a pull string light, and under the bed, but nothing is there. The next morning they wake up and Laura asks her husband about the night before. He looks at her and says, "I thought I saw you in the closet when the light went on, but then I realized that you were asleep next to me." See, this is the point where I personally would have gotten the hell out of there, but instead the pair called the host, who got very defensive when questioned about whether or not they or any of their guests had experienced or reported any paranormal activity inside of the home. After the phone call, Laura felt this weird compulsion to communicate with whatever was in the home. She complimented them on their beautiful space and asked if they could please just share it for the weekend and if whoever was there could stop scaring the dog. After that, the energy changed. Laura and her husband still felt as though they weren't alone, but it was calmer now and the dog was happy. They enjoyed the rest of their weekend and then packed up and went home. So I guess if you're ever feeling scared in a haunted place, maybe try some compliments.
And finally, we have a farmhouse in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania that's haunted by spirits who died at the Battle of Gettysburg. Now, for starters, if you're a Civil War buff, this would be a pretty cool place to stay. For one, the property is beautiful, the host seems really nice, and it's close to some pretty historic sites, including the actual farmhouse itself. Yes, the farmhouse and barn were used as a field hospital immediately after the Battle of Gettysburg, so it's not surprising that guests, as well as the folks who live there, say they've had some pretty creepy experiences. Visitors have seen figures roaming around the property in what looks like Confederate soldier uniforms, and footsteps are often heard wandering around at night. But the host claims all the ghosts are friendly and says she has plenty of stories that she's willing to share with visitors. So that sounds like a pretty nice way to spend a weekend to me.
I know where James is going for his next holiday.
Yeah, which one can you guess which one?
Oh, the one that you were like, look at this!
Yeah, that's the one.
Look at this!
Look at this!
Look at it! Oh. Where would you go? Did we miss any?
Oh, there's tons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Let us know if you have
know.
any creepy Airbnb experiences. Well, we'll catch you guys next time.
That we will.